Hey everybody, it's Texas Stroker here, Lance's Performance Shop, Lone Star, Mopars.com. It is Wednesday night, just about 8:45 p.m. here, and thought I'd come out here, try to knock something out, get some stuff clean, try to catch up on a backlog of videos, and there's a chance you could see this in the morning. So still want to stick with tool content Saturdays, and Ram Revival Automotive stuff Wednesdays. Channel update last week went live Thursday. If you saw that, you kind of know what's been going on. If not, I encourage you to check it out, at least read the description. But I previewed what we're actually going to cover here. Similarly, with SEMA now in the books, you might have actually gotten to see like some real-world representations of these products. So what we're going to be dealing with is from Ernst, as we talked about again in the channel description. So once more, if you are new here, I encourage you to use the description box. Why? There's timestamps. If you're interested in one specific item, you can kind of spoil the video and find it, skip around, whatever you need to do. Fine by me. Also wearing the Alpha Vibes tonight. So discount code of Lone Star. I make nothing off that. Just saves you 20% on a good pair of gloves. So where this began, we took where we were last dealing with Ernst. We sort of had like a smorgasbord of stuff. But the main thing, I'd stocked up on a bunch of these like drawer organizers, right? So we've got the tin tray, and we've got the tin compartment and the 3 compartment, if you will. Respectively, you're looking at $9.95 for the small one, and then $15.95. That's MSRP. You can often find those significantly cheaper. The cool thing was they made them in blue. You know, it's typically like black and green, and then sort of high vis snuck its way in on popular request, if you will. But blue was the thing, and my deal is I have a lot of other things from Ernst. If you recall in one of the Harbor Freight videos with the little sort of Hercules 3/8 ratchet that I took to work, still using it, broke a grade 2 lag screw 2 days ago now. So that aside, what I keep my impact sockets on in the tool bag is an Ernst rail. They make them in blue. If you've seen some of my older videos with the VHA torque sockets, stuff like that, those red rails, those are also from Ernst. So you kind of see where we're going there. We've got the Bit Boss. We have, let's just go ahead and, where did I put them? Throw these down too. There's screwdriver organizers. I'm currently, again, I can't really use my left hand to do much at this point in time. It's, I think, getting closer to where I don't have to worry about breaking it open. But having to go to a hospital for an infection type of a deal. Currently, I'm doing a lot of like organizing. There's a lot of stuff that we brought in. There's some stuff I had. There's stuff you've never seen. It's a mess, and I'm trying to clean it up. So I'm trying to do so in the coolest, most economical, and practical way possible, and that's where we tie in with Ernst. So, as best I know, I'm going to run this by you real quick, sort of like the nutshell of the story. I loved the blue trays. I would love to see more blue products, right? They've got stuff like the screwdriver organizers, the socket rails. They make the Bit Boss, which we actually, I think, way back in the day, probably have a video on that thing. What else? We've got wrench racks, reverse wrench racks, standard wrench racks that will hold and not spill your wrenches out should you pick them up and, you know, caddy them about the shop or something like that, right? So the thing was, they didn't really have blue, you know, sort of like red and black are your defaults, you know, and then as I mentioned, you add in high vis. So when these trays came out, I'd seen them for a long time, but when they became available in blue, I was like, oh, you know, gotta pull the trigger there. So what they've done, and I'm one of the many people that emailed in and was like, hey, you know, I've got your blue trays, I've got the socket rails, whatever. Could you make the rest of your product line in blue? Well, they expanded blue, and that's what we're going to get to eventually. They don't have it sort of encompassing the whole product line just yet, but what they've done since that introduction of blue to partial product line, they've introduced 2 brand new colors, one of them being green and the other being orange. So think of like your tool truck, you know, high vis, you know, bright, vibrant colors, you know, sort of follows suit there. That's why you don't see like a maroon or, you know, like plum, things like that. They're sort of starting with this. If there is ever enough demand, I think it's something they would strongly consider if we said, hey, you need to do tie-dye, and they had thousands and thousands of people demanding tie-dye, there's a chance you could see tie-dye. You know, it's that type of a deal. So they are aware of what their customers want. They are receptive to that. Same thing when I emailed them. I said, hey, did you guys ever consider doing blue and, more of your products? As things stand, and I'm going to have these on order, blue is in the tray, orange is in the tray, green is in the tray, right? So you can have kind of your pick of colors across the board with the trays. With the socket organizers, this is individual rails, this is, 2 rails on a rack, 3 rails on a rack, and everything in between. You basically have the entire gauntlet of colors. I wish I had them here to show you. If we do that, we'll showcase them at some point. But blue, green, orange, in addition to everything they already had. So that's pretty awesome. As far as I know, I could be mistaken. Maybe it's not live on the website. Maybe it was like a lower priority. I think for the screwdriver holders, as much as it pains me to say it, right now I only know of them being available in black and red. Again, if that changes, I'll try to let you know. But similarly, if you think, man, I would have bought 5 of those if they were in green, tell them, whether it's on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, whatever, an email, a phone call, say, hey, I love this green stuff you're doing. I need green screwdriver organizers. Again, it's never a hindrance or deterrent when you have people saying, hey, I like what you do. Can you do this? That's complimentary. That's how you stay in business, and even if you say, oh, well, we'll look into it, well, it's still a compliment to the business and the product line. So worst that can happen, you tried and it didn't work. Best that can happen, enough people like you put forth the effort to go the extra mile, and then a little bit of time down the road, you've got your dream color configuration. The Bit Boss, as best I know, just like the screwdriver racks, I think it's only available in black. Don't hold me to that. Could change. In terms of like red and high vis, I don't even know it's available in those. I didn't see it on the site, but that's another item that I think is sort of limited color scale. But where we get into other new additions, let's just pull this out and grab something else real quick. This right here, a lot of you are going to be familiar with this. There's a certain German plier brand that people tend to hold in very high regard, and I've not seen it available, with their branding on it, but it might look real similar to this. All right, so this is Ernst Pliers Rack. This is an item that I kind of want your help on because the new colors, green and orange, are now available. I mean, you could literally go to the site right now, order this in green or orange. So if you're a Snap-on guy and you've got all green handled or all orange handled pliers, boom, you have a color-coded plier rack. Now keep in mind, Snap-on, may get something with their logo or branding on it, but you can get this for $10.95 and save a whole bunch of money. So I'm sorry, it would be $16.95, but regardless, you're going to pay significantly more than that off of a tool truck. So kind of pick your poison there. The thing is, this is currently not available in blue, and I think it needs to be. If it was available in blue, that would work really, really well. Some of you might prefer red with your Knipex handles. In fact, there's always a pair nearby. So these combo needle nose, whatever you do, I mean, the red's not bad. That's what Knipex went with. It's their primary, corporate color. I think it would look killer in blue as well. And like I said, red or blue, I think, is going to be your color of choice, especially if you do the 2-component handles from Knipex. I think that would look awesome, but again, red is sort of your default standard, and as mentioned, orange and green also kind of sharing in the limelight there, so very cool on that front. And if you're sitting here and you're thinking, well, hey, you said you had new blue stuff. If it's not a Pliers Rack for $16.95, you already have the trays. We've gone over those prices. You say it's this, socket rails exist, but you don't have any. What is left? Well, I'm glad you asked, because this is what the video is about, right here, coming in. Very, very fresh. Again, I wish I could have gotten this video out a little sooner. I apologized to the company. I had my little bout with Rona, and then, the whole left hand went down thing. And, yeah, time kind of gets away from you. But right here, you're thinking like, oh, what's going on here? It's some like mountable wrench rack? Well, yes, that's exactly what would be going on. However, variety is the spice of life. So let's open these up. We've got 3 different and unique products to take a look at, and we'll situate them as so. Again, these were like really, really fresh. If you see them in store, you're probably going to have like, you know, the tag. These two do not. So we're kind of going to walk you through it. But basically what we're looking at in the middle, this is like your classic wrench rack. This is if you're got a table, you know, or you've got a drawer in a toolbox. This is sort of the standard legacy item, if you will. It's going to hold the wrenches. You can also, if you note from the mounting provisions, you can run screws in, drop this down. It's going to hold the wrenches just fine. The catch is, look at the design, look at the profile. It's like waves or shark fins and waves, who knows. But, it's just simply going to hold the wrench. The perk is it's easy in, easy out. There's no resistance to deal with. The downside, if you were to ever say, open your toolbox and say, man, you know, I need to take these SAE wrenches to work on this car. You do metric all the time. Instead of being able to hold it, you could technically do it, but you run the risk of spilling out. Same thing to transport it from the drawer. You'd sort of have to keep it, you know, parallel with the ground or perpendicular, and anywhere in between, you run the risk of losing items. So it's sort of got the perk again of easy in and easy out. The downside, if it's ever going to be mobile for any reason, not very rare occasions or all the time, anything, you might fare better with one of these. Now, what's going on here, if you take a look, we'll just go with this one. Now, the price on the standard guy right there, just a 16 tool wrench tray. Are you sitting down? $8.95, that's right, it's less than $10. It's less than $9, in fact. Ernst, if I haven't mentioned, if you did not know, if I haven't said it yet in this video, the cool thing about Ernst, every bit of the product line is made in the USA, and it's made in the USA at ridiculously affordable prices. So keep that in mind. We'll be doing a ton of toolbox organization stuff here coming up that we'll be mixing in all sorts of different brands, different products. But it's going to be pretty rare that you're going to see something priced economically that's also made in America. That's sort of a win-win situation, especially again with the evolved color lineup. So right here you've got the Ernst wrench organizer, but this is what they call the gripper. Okay, this is going to be a 15 tool, as you can see there, and the catch is it's basically the same thing as the wrench rack. But if you pay careful attention to the side profile here, instead of just having this one wave come up and sort of down, you've got this tang, sort of like what you saw on the screwdriver holders, right? And what that's going to do is simply hold the wrench in place. So case in point, that's why there's a handle here. You'll note there's no handle here. Could you move wrenches on this? Absolutely. Do people do it? Yes. Have I done it? Yes. Does it work? Yeah, the majority of the time. But if you trip, if you stumble, if you're not paying attention or thinking, or you're used to moving something like the gripper, you might lose some downtime there having to pick up wrenches. With this, as long as you set the wrench in place properly, should not be an issue. Again, that's why there is a carry handle on this guy. Note, if you want to mount it, you can totally do that. But the way this would operate, just like the standard one, the wrenches would come in and just tuck down. That way, if you pick this up and it swings wildly as you're going from A to B, maybe you're running on the job site, you're not going to spill the wrenches out as long as they're tucked in. Similarly, if you have it down like this, if you have it, you know, like say on the lid of your cart and you've got to lock up at night or something, if you shut this, the wrenches are going to stay. If you shut that with the lid coming down, they're going to have a chance of spilling out. So that's the advantages there. And if you're thinking like, well, hey, what's that one? You know, it looks just like the gripper, which seems to have that same profile. You'd be 100% correct on that front. The catch is this is a reverse gripper, right? So if you're thinking like, ah, yeah, same profile, same concept, but instead of the tangs facing, you know, the big side or the open end, you've got the tangs facing the small side. You'll also note that there's not as big of a handle, but that is there. You can cut it off if you want to. It's also able to be mounted in multiple configurations, but if you take a look, that's how we would do that. And case in point for you, if I back these two up, you kind of see what I'm saying. Since this is flipped, they sort of mirror each other, but when we put small end with small end, you'll notice we kind of slide that through there. They're just juxtaposed, right? They're opposite one another. If we put the biggest one with the biggest one, we can follow that line. This one faces that side of the workbench. This one faces the corner of the shop. So that's where that stands. That's kind of the difference. Why would you want to do that? Well, depends what you're doing, depends how you're laying things out, depends what you're organizing. Price point for either one of these, whether you go, you know, standard or reverse, you're going to be looking at $10.95. So classic, tried and true wrench tray, perfect for drawers, perfect for wrenches that are going to be stationary in your toolbox or cart. You're looking at $8.95. Either one of these gripper versions, you're looking at $10.95. Now, you're thinking like, well, hey, you know, couldn't you just have this style and turn it around if you were trying to like offset wrenches in your toolbox to maximize the drawer space? The answer is yes, but again, it's just going to be a little easier to do that with the one designed to be in reverse. So keep that in mind, but anything of this layout will work great for that. And that's kind of the point in the video we're to now. So I'm going to run over to the box, just quickly throw some stuff together here for you. Maybe complete sets, may not be complete sets, but we'll kind of try to showcase the difference. It will take me a while to clear a drawer out, but maybe we'll do that as well. So this again is the highlight of this video. This is sort of what was sent out to showcase. Again, these were not previously available in blue. So if you've been sitting there and you're like, man, I really like those racks we have at work, but I don't want a black or a red one. I wish they had colors. Well, they do now. And it's not just blue. These are available in orange and green as well. And if you're thinking like, hey, those are stupid good prices, it's made in America, it's in my color scheme, and you need your pliers organized, once more, this little guy right here, which it's the priciest item. It's $16.95, again, 100% made in America. It's available in orange and green. That's referring to the divider color, obviously. Not available in blue. If you're like me and you think it should be, leave a comment, hit Ernst up, social media, email, whatever, let them know. And there's a good chance they'll actually make it happen for us. So, like I said, I would kind of continually check back because there's a very good chance they will be expanding the color range, maybe moving blue into products like this, maybe getting blue, orange, and green set up with screwdriver organizers, maybe the bit boss. It's one of those things, it really does kind of depend on like customer feedback, right? So if it's something you're passionate about, if you've got to have green, go tell them, you know. So that's sort of how this whole video came about. I was just like, hey, you know, really like this stuff. Could you ever consider doing other products in blue? And it's like, hey, guess what? We are. So super cool day when you hear good news like that. But again, tried to kind of update you on the new colors. Like I said, here very, very soon, you're going to see some new plier dividers. And probably, given that I went ahead and pulled the trigger on that Orange Harbor freight cart you saw, the little 4-drawer one, probably going to go ahead and get my blue trays out of there, swap everything over to orange. And yeah, so I mean, any of those high impact colors, sort of Mopar stuff almost, right? Got your Hemi Orange, your Sublime, all the good cool colors, right? Whatever your variety is, you've got a pretty good base cover. Now, black goes with everything. Red is sort of default for so many companies, it seems. But blue, orange, and green are here. They're growing. Hopefully, they continue to do so. With that said, let's can this and go ahead and populate these things. Let you kind of see them in sort of an almost real-world scenario here. As I was going to set this up, it dawned on me, I'm like, hey, you know, I should probably just go ahead and populate these things. So the way this would work, I do not have this seated. We grab some offset Heikos. That's what we're working with. We want to find a slot where it fits, obviously, like out here, we're not happening, right? So you don't want to go way down here either. So you sort of want to position it in accordance with your set. And if you see what happened there, it just drops down into place. So let me find these 17. We'll try to stagger these a little bit just to fill this out a little bit more, but let me hold this here while we've got a bigger wrench and you can kind of see the action. All right there, perfect timing with a text message. All right, we'll do one more together, then I'll fill this out again just to better populate it, and also because I've not gone back in and sort of filled out my set yet. We'll now stuff these together because we got a 15, 14, and a 13. If I can find it. But I tell you what, let me, since I've already screwed this up, I'm gonna go ahead, get these in the correct order, and technically they're not messed up, but with what I have, we've screwed up. So I'll get this populated and we'll take a look at it, and then I'll try to grab some wrenches. We'll showcase them in the standard wrench rack. All right, so I had to go a little aerial here for you, but tried to kind of mix and match some stuff of interest here for you. Showcase some stuff you could do. So to the left of the screen, we've got the Hakko Max lines, which pop really, really good against the blue. That's about the chromiest wrench I've bought in my life. The old Craftsman's were given to me, you know. So back here, we've got essentially kind of like an incomplete set that I'm just piecing together as I need it. But basically 13 through 17, and then we jump up to a 19. Here we've got, anyone remember when we picked these things up, the Huskies? I've had these, true story, in their holder this entire time. Because quite frankly, I am the type of person, when I'm doing something, I'll grab the wrench set and I'll drag it out to where I am. That's why I keep the sockets in the weird little blow molded cases, because I just drag it around, slide it under a vehicle with me, and it's easy because I have everything I need. So that's the perk of what they came in. The downside, and if you watch that video, I said, man, it's kind of a cumbersome case. It's a deal where this I just lift out, right, one-handed with a bad thumb. In the Husky case, you almost have to like turn it and clear a little tab and raise up, and it's real clanky. It works good. It should hold them. I think over time the plastic would wear and get easier to work with, and then ultimately fail. But in this case, again, black on blue, you can never go wrong. Looks really good. And then over here, this, for me, when I grab a wrench, it's typically a combination wrench, right? Open end, box end. Some configuration of that. Doesn't need to be offset, we go to the max lines. If it needs to be straight, we factor that in. Double open end wrenches, not really something I reach for all the time. Now obviously you get a lot of versatility in them. There's a practicality standpoint for it. They work really well in the wrench roll because you're maximizing your size selection. The thing is, where this and these and, you know, other wrenches I would grab and take with me, I don't really ever envision myself doing that with double open-end wrenches. That's sort of something is like relegated to the toolbox. If I don't have clearance to get a socket and ratchet on one side of a fastener, that's where these come in. Super slim, put it on one side, come in, get this, your ratcheting wrench or whatever on the other side. You got your size, let's just say 19, and we got a 19 here. That's works really well. The thing is, the standard El Cheapo tried and true $8.95 wrench rack, where yes, if I pick this up and turn it, they're going to slop around, they're going to slide. If we flip it, if we swing it, they're going to fall out. You know, in most cases, sometimes they might stay in, depends on gravity and inertia and stuff like that we won't get into. These you can just kind of grab and treat them like a holder. You don't want to like sling them around, but you certainly have that option. So what I'm going to do, get the tripod spread back out here and kind of showcase that. So if I pick this up, you see what happened there? Just, if you don't have perfect balance, this thing's gone. You're going to lose your wrenches because it's not really designed to be picked up. So it's easier for me to clean that up by doing that. That's what we're going to do for right now. This, on the other hand, when I pick it up, that's some heavy weight. I mean, this is a full set. Yes, there's skips, but I mean, you get the idea. We've got, what, 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. I'm sorry, 10. 10 wrenches here. These are a little longer, actually, than a standard wrench as well, so that's going to add weight to them. But, I mean, check that out. I'm not trying to spill them, but despite you not being able to see, my thumb is just lifting these to the sky and back down, right? So, if I turn it around, you get the idea. The open $8.95 one, you don't want to do these things with it. With the gripper, you can. Now, do we want to be stupid and do something that you should really never even tempt fate with? And the answer is yes, because it's a YouTube video. So right here, this is straight up. I'm parallel. I'm not going to lie to you. It's not like I'm tilting it down this way so they don't fall out. I'm also not tilting it the other way where they would be more prone to falling out. But as best I can tell with my two hands, we're basically perpendicular to the floor, or in this case, the workbench. Now, tilting it here, yeah, guess what? Looks dangerous, but pay attention, you know, gravity works, and this is not going to fall out. Now, What we're going to do this time is left hand's going to go up, right hand's going to go down, and at this point in time, the wrenches could fall out. We're going to test the gripper. So there we are. This is, again, where they should fall if they were going to. But if you pay attention to that profile, the little hook, right? You have your full extension, then we kick back in. That's sort of what's holding these. Now we're going to go extra stupid here and go upside down. I'm not holding any wrenches. Let me try to get that. See, my thumb is here away from the 19. This is where they should fall out. This is where they should really fall out. I'm shaking it. You can't really see it. Let me get down here where you can. Gives you a good feel for the difference between the gripper and the standard. Now, coming over here, obviously the Max lines, they're in the exact same style holder. This is just sort of your standard configuration versus the reverse one. So really, I mean, like if you've got 2 sets of wrenches and ample drawer space, pick one and run with it. If you want to maximize it, get one standard, get one reverse. Again, I had this laid out in this configuration. You'll note we have our reverse one here, okay? So it's wide at the bottom, skinny at the top, pyramid, whatever you want to call it. Note that both of these were opposite that. The reason being, you don't want to run a 19 here, a 3/4 here, you know, and a 19 here, because your drawer profile is just going to be, you know, incinerated, and you can't fit 3 racks of these wrenches. If you flip it and you've got a 19 beside, you know, like a 7 or 8 millimeter, and then you've got a 7 or 8 millimeter over here, you conceivably fit that in your drawer footprint. Obviously, depends on the drawer size, depends if you're working with full length, partial length, third, you know, a little cart. Some homebrew thing, a nightstand, a file cabinet. Everything is going to be hinging upon your particular application, but by orienting things in this manner, you have a better chance of maximizing the drawer space. Let's say it's a narrow drawer. You're not going to fit this positioned like that, but when you go like this, there's a good chance you could possibly do that. So that's sort of the reasoning behind having a standard orientation and then offering a reverse. It's nothing complicated. It's as simple as like, hey, gotta maximize your drawer space, and just take the wrenches out of these. If you had all 3 of the bases at the bottom, it's gonna exceed, you know, the mat. It's gonna come outside the camera range. Whereas if you did 2 bases at the bottom and then 1 base at the top, it's going to compact itself and fit real nice. That's how triangles operate, right? Sort of a W effect with an M tucked in. But yeah, I think that kind of showcases it. I was very surprised. I had no plans. I didn't know if these were going to drop out or not. They held in. Obviously, if you've had a wrench gripper for like 5 years and you use it all the time, or it sits outside in the sun, you might be able to pick yours up and maybe a wrench or 2 falls out. Maybe the tabs break over time. I don't know. The ones I have at work, I'm not going to lie, they're primarily this style, the old school style. They're red, some are metal, some are plastic from Ernst. They really are stationary though. That's hence why I went with that design. I don't have the tabs break off. Now, plastic socket trays with a little spikes, oh yeah, those don't last very well. But my limited experience with these, that's at work, not at home, has been great. The gripper is an upgrade. If you're just throwing it in a box and it's not going to roll, like it's not a cart, this is like your stationary box, it's a stationary workbench or table, something like this is more than adequate over here on the end. If you're ever going to move it, or you move it frequently, or you think, hey, there's like 2 or 3 times a year I have to grab my wrenches, throw them in the truck and go help somebody, the gripper's probably the way to go. And honestly, you're spending an extra $2, so some of you might just do it by default. But that sort of showcases these. If I can fit these in the drawer, I'll try to have that shot for you. I'll get these repopulated, try to get a thumbnail at least for it. But yeah, this is what Ernst was nice enough to send us out to showcase for you. And like I said, there's going to be some new colored drawer organizers and pliers holders headed my way. And as soon as I get those in, we'll get a video and schedule it. You know, we've got typically alternate our stuff a little bit. Sometimes we don't. Keep it spicy like that. But yeah, for the price point, for the fact it's made in America, for the fact that they continue to expand the color lineup, hats off to Ernst. Again, these are super economical, great ways to organize your tools. Again, whether it's you're operating out of a massive, 6-foot box, or you're working out of like a little Harbor Freight cart, or just a little tiny 3-drawer Craftsman thing, this is going to work for you. If you go site to site, or you're frequently having to run to buddy's house, or your parents, or sister, or sibling, whatever, consider the gripper. If it's just going to be like this rack right here is going at your drill press, and you know exactly what sizes you need for your fixtures, and your spindles and everything you change out, something like this, more than fine. Lay it flat, mount it on the wall for space savings. You're going to be golden. If you're planning on moving it, get the gripper. Let's just leave it at that. So, with that said, I do hope you enjoyed the video. If so, leave a like, leave a comment. If you haven't subscribed, I encourage you to do so. Again, we shoot for new videos every Saturday, typically tool-related. Automotive content Wednesdays when I'm not sick and have both hands and can actually produce said content. But in the meantime, we've got some fillers, so hopefully you enjoy. Again, big thanks to Ernst for sending these out to us. Be on the lookout for the other stuff. If you're amped up about the tool organization stuff, let me know. I've got lots of that stuff, several videos already, uploaded, just waiting to be released, and plan to bring in some more stuff. And ultimately, like I said, we got a lot of stuff. We need to organize it. We need to get it practical. We need to make it easy to find, easy to pull out, easy to put in service, and easy to put back. So that's what we're kind of doing behind the scenes. I can do that, where I can't like really grab things with this hand just yet, bear down and torque it. Things like this, I'm capable of doing one-handed. So having fun doing that, sort of in the downtime till I can kind of get back in the full swing of things. So Lone Star Mopars, you can find us Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all three at Lone Star Mopars. I hope you have yourself a fantastic weekend. If I can fit these in the drawer, you'll get a little eye candy at the end. If not, hopefully this sufficed for you. And let me know if you've used Ernst products. What are you using? How do you like it? Any good, any bad? Feel free to leave a comment. Similarly, if you are excited about the orange and the green, let me know. I know I am. Similarly, if you're a very, very color-ordinated person and you just have to have everything match, feel free to discuss that in the comments section. And lastly, if you're like me and you think blue needs to be an available color for the Pliers Rack, leave a comment, let them know. Similarly, again, I could be mistaken. Bit Boss and these screwdriver organizers, I'm not sure that they're available in blue, orange, or green. If you want to see those, let them know. They could be in the works. They could be on the way. I'm not 100%. Don't want to mislead anyone. But I'm so happy that they did this. I'm so glad I emailed them, because then we got these ahead of time and get to showcase them and use them and organize our toolbox a little better. So with that said, I'll quit rambling. Have yourself a fantastic weekend. Get out in the shop or the garage. Have some fun. Maybe organize your tools or do something super cool. Get out, enjoy the weather and the short daylight hours while you can. So with that said, thanks for watching. I'll catch you back here for more action from the shop. As promised. Just take it all in, would you? So I wanted to be a little dramatic there, but as you can see, we've kind of got the inverted pyramid, standard pyramid, inverted pyramid. And the way this would work, if you're curious about where the tin is, it's in the trunk of the Challenger, but do have that, don't have the 11 and 12. So the ACO Max lines are good offset wrenches. They're my main offset wrenches in metric, so that's something I would grab and drag with me, so I can do that with the gripper. Same thing here with the Huskies. If we wanted to just grab the full set so we have the sizes, because we're not familiar with metric and don't know what it is, boom, we can do it. Over here, a couple of things. Number one, with the double open end, again, that's not something I frequently drag with me. It's sort of just an auxiliary wrench, in all honesty, the way I operate. So it would stay in the toolbox. That's where this open one that's non-gripper would be great. And also something that would typically, be one-offed. My apologies to the OCD people that had to witness that. It wasn't oriented correctly. We've got our ratcheting jokers here. So this would be a situation where, again, let's say that we couldn't fit a socket, so we have to go with 2 wrenches, and we know, hey, we're working with 13mm hardware. Boom, we come in, we grab that, we get our double open end with 13 on it, put this on the slim side, ratchet action over here. So these, again, it's kind of hit and miss. You could possibly take them all with you, you might possibly not. But if you're like, man, I filled this up and I don't have any bigger wrenches, what a waste. You can always populate. It doesn't have to be the same set. You know, some people might be appalled by that, others will not. But there you go. Really, if you had to say anything negative, it would simply be the bare spots, right? Like, I don't anticipate needing to go out and buy like a 7 to 6 half sizes when you get smaller. So you do have vacancies here that you could try to fill with something. You could populate it differently. Maybe you buy like a bigger wrench, fill it in at the bottom. That would really be the only negative I could think of. So that said, man, do they look good in the drawer. Again, I just kind of had to haphazardly throw this together for you. It's really, really cool. And again, right there, you can sort of see what you would go for. If we needed a 15, we just come in and grab it. It's kind of hard. It's not reflective of the product. That is reflective of yours truly having a bad gripping area of the finger. I just kind of locked my thumb up on that hand. But hey, there we go. This gives you the aesthetics on the bench, in a drawer. And I do want to point out, you know, obviously if you have like really shallow drawer, before you spend a ton of time, make sure you can clear. If it's a deal where you're not going to use the top and that's all it rubs, you could easily trim that off, call it a day. If you want to maximize, really maximize space, there's no law that says you couldn't just come in and cut. You know, let's say that you've got 15/16 down to, I don't know, 1/2 inch or 5/16. You don't have anything smaller, you could cut that off and just have it populated however you want. So keep that in mind, but it does give you a lot of space here. And you know, there's different size options as well. But with that said, I'm going to wrap this video up. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you like this little eye candy at the end. I get a lot of requests for toolbox tours. We're not to that. We have to start with our roots, and our roots would be over there and the little stuff that's we've had for years and years. So not this new recent additions, right, later in life. We're going to start with the humble beginnings, folks. So just be aware of that. Again, not anticipating doing that anytime in the near future, but there it is. You'll note, like, that's about, you could maybe get 4 of them, you know, if I like pulled some stuff out, but you'd have space on the sides for extensions or really big wrenches that wouldn't fit in a normal rack, or really small ones that wouldn't fit. Whatever you need to do, just maximize your space. But this gives you a good idea. Hopefully you enjoyed, and most importantly, I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Again, big thanks to Ernst for sending these out. If you've got any experiences, leave them down below. Thanks for watching.